In modern Africa, few business figures have had as much structural impact as Aliko Dangote. Through cement, sugar, flour, and oil refining, his companies have influenced supply chains across multiple African economies. But his rise was not based on technology or finance. It was built on commodities, the fundamental inputs of economic development. This is an analysis of how Dangote built Africa's largest industrial empire. Early foundations. Aliko Dangote was born in Kano, Nigeria in 1957 into a trading family. In 1977, after completing his education, he began a small-scale commodity trading business with financial support from his family. His early operations focused on importing and distributing essential goods such as rice, sugar, and cement. At the time, Nigeria was heavily reliant on imports, creating an opportunity for distribution networks to scale quickly. However, distribution alone does not create industrial dominance. Manufacturing does. The strategic shift to manufacturing. In the early 2000s, Dangote transitioned from importing cement to producing it locally. This marked the beginning of the industrial phase of the Dangote group of companies. The strategy aligned with Nigeria's government policies, encouraging local production to reduce import dependency. By investing heavily in cement plants, Dangote positioned his company to benefit from rapid urbanization, infrastructural expansion, and housing demand. Over time, Dangote Cement became the largest cement producer in Africa, exporting to multiple countries across the continent. Expansion into essential commodities. After establishing dominance in cement, the group expanded into sugar refining, salt processing, flour milling. The pattern was consistent. It was to identify high-demand essentials and build local production capacity for them. He also aimed at scaling distribution across West Africa. This vertical integration strengthened the group's control over pricing, logistics, and supply stability. Rather than pursuing diversified ventures in unrelated sectors, the focus remained on core industrial commodities. Market position and competitive advantage. Several factors contributed to Dangote's competitive position. If we look at it critically, he was involved in the economies of scale, the access to long-term financing, he had a strong logistics network, and he had alignment with the national industrial policy. Operating in industries with high capital requirements also limited new entrants. Cement production, for example, requires billions of dollars in infrastructural investment, creating natural barriers to competition. As a result, Dangote Cement became a dominant supplier in multiple regional markets. The oil refinery project. In 2016, Dangote announced one of the most ambitious industrial projects in Africa, a large-scale oil refinery located in the country's commercial hub, Lagos. Designed to process hundreds of thousands of barrels per day, the refinery aims to reduce Nigeria's dependence on imported refined petroleum products. The project required billions in capital investment. It also required international engineering partnerships and complex regulatory coordination. If fully operational at scale, it has the potential to significantly impact the fuel supply dynamics in West Africa. However, projects of this magnitude also carry substantial financial and operational risk, criticisms, and market debates. As with many dominant firms, Dangote companies have faced great criticism related to market concentration and pricing influence. Some analysts argue that protective trade policies have benefited local producers. Others emphasize the role of private capital in accelerating industrial development where public infrastructure was limited. The broader debate reflects a common economic tension. Should industrial policy prioritize local champions, or should it rather maximize open market competition? Structural impact. Regardless of the perspective it is being looked at, the measurable impact is significant. Dangote's investments have increased local manufacturing capacity and reduced certain import dependencies. Also, we would agree that it has created thousands of direct and indirect jobs to both Africans and Nigerians at large. It has also expanded the African export potential. And unlike many high-growth business stories built on digital platforms, this empire was constructed through physical infrastructure that included the growth of factories, plants, and logistic corridors. The rise of Aliko Dangote illustrates a broader theme in African economic development. It just illustrates that industrial power often begins with controlling essential inputs. If we look at it critically, cement builds cities, sugar feeds populations, and fuel powers transportation. By focusing on foundational industries, Dangote positioned these companies at the structural core of economic activity. And in emerging markets, only those who control structure often shape long-term influence.